When you hear the word blockbuster today, you probably associate it with big summer movies, and perhaps a popular but now extinct video rental chain. And you'd be right. Today's definition of a blockbuster is a big budget Hollywood movie, typically released during the summer, that is produced to draw in a massive crowd with its spectacular special effects and its star-studded cast. But you might be surprised that the term has a much darker origin. According to Time magazine, the term blockbuster came from large, highly destructive bombs used in the 1940s during World War II. They were called blockbusters because of their ability to destroy an entire city block. Over time, the term became a metaphor for something shocking or explosive. By the early 1950s, the term had become pretty popular within the film industry, referring to a film that was large in spectacle, scale, and cost, and that would typically go on to achieve a large amount of money. And for a couple decades, that simple definition held, and the term blockbuster was simply used to reference a movie that happened to make a lot of money. That all changed in 1975.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Steven Spielberg's Jaws is widely considered the first summer blockbuster. Before 1975, movie theaters typically saw very low turnout in the summer months because most people preferred outdoor summer activities to sitting indoors watching a movie. However, the release of Jaws was timed to come out in the summer to intentionally scare beachgoers.
Kind of been uneasy and keep turning around and looking to see what's behind me as well as in front.
There was a massive publicity effort put into the marketing of the movie. It was an event, and it was an overwhelming success. With a budget of $7 million, Jaws made that money back in its opening weekend. It went on to gross $260 million. Jaws redefined what a blockbuster is. They weren't just movies that made a good amount of money anymore. They were now their own genre. They were an experience. Audiences lined up for these movies in droves, interacted with them, talked about them afterwards, and went back to see them again just for the thrill. Another movie quickly followed this same formula. When Star Wars came out 2 years after Jaws, it cemented the summer blockbuster genre, and its power has endured over time. Roger Ebert wrote this in 1998. Spielberg changed the course of modern Hollywood history. Jaws was a hit of vast proportions, inspiring executives to go for the home run instead of the base hit. And it came out in the summer, a season the major studios had generally ceded to cheaper exploitation films. Within a few years, the Jaws model would inspire an industry in which budgets ran wild because the rewards seemed limitless, in which summer action pictures dominated the industry, and in which the hottest young directors wanted to make the great American blockbuster. Throughout the 80s and 90s, blockbusters continued to thrive. We had Alien and its sequel Aliens, 3 Indiana Jones movies, Ghostbusters, the Back to the Future trilogy, Die Hard, Batman, and more. Further proof of the popularity of the term within the movie industry was the growth of the popular video rental chain Blockbuster Video in the mid-1980s. When we think of modern blockbusters, we typically think of all the big popular franchises, especially the ones with the superheroes in them. But there are also movies like The Day After Tomorrow, The Da Vinci Code, Inception, and The Edge of Tomorrow that fit the mold of a blockbuster. The biggest blockbusters, though, have been from franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean, Transformers, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Jurassic World. The most successful recent franchise is undoubtedly Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in particular, the Avengers movies. Currently, Avengers Endgame is the highest costing movie ever made with an estimated budget between $356 and $400 million. Luckily for Disney, they were able to easily recoup that budget as the film grossed over $2.7 billion worldwide. Today, there's no agreed upon amount that a movie needs to make in order to be considered a blockbuster. In general, commercial films that earn major box office returns fits the definition, even if their content isn't particularly explosive. As successful as blockbusters have been, they don't come without their criticism. Many people think that the focus on mass market films that fit a particular mold have been the death of artistic movies. I personally think that's being a little dramatic. It's definitely true that blockbusters have a certain formula, and that big studios are in the business of making money and reducing financial risk. If they know a certain formula works, then they're gonna stick to it, which of course leads to similar story structures and plots. I think it's just resulted in more independent films being made and filmmakers having to get a little more creative when it comes to financing their films. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but that topic could be an entirely different video, and maybe I'll make that one at some point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this blockbuster video, which definitely did not have the budget of a real blockbuster. But if you did like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so that it can spread to more people. I'd really appreciate it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.